Hey guys, thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. I'm Tamara, owner and broker of T&Co Realty, and today I'm going to be talking about how to properly screen your tenants so that you don't have to face an eviction. So I've been in this business for over 7 years, working in the Triangle, Raleigh-Durham area, North Carolina. Not only do I work with buyers and sellers and investors, but I'm also an investor myself. Over 20 properties ranging throughout the area, mostly Raleigh-Durham, but I also have a rental in Hillsborough, Rocky Mount, and last year I ventured down to Wilmington. Probably won't do that again, but that is another story to talk about. Today I'm going to be focusing on long-term rentals and how to properly screen them. I will say this, in the past 7 years, I have never had to evict someone. I realized in hindsight that I skipped a few critical steps in screening this particular tenant. And so today I'm going to be going over kind of a step-by-step process, as well as explain to you some of the failures that I made, so you don't have to when you do go about screening your tenants. I actually ended up finding this tenant on Zillow. I find all of my tenants on Zillow. I don't particularly list them on the MLS because Zillow is kind of the best source to find tenants. And I'll say the first mistake that I made was using the Zillow application online. All of my other tenants, I use a company. It's a website actually called TransUnion by SmartMove. I love this particular website because it actually gives you a score letting you know if this person is high risk or if you should allow them to become one of your tenants. It does a very thorough check, and I don't feel like the Zillow applications actually do that. So that's really where I messed up. I think that people can actually use a fake name, social security number, and input incorrect information into Zillow to make it appear as if they have over 700 credit score. On Zillow rentals, if there is someone that is interested in my rental, I will send them an email upon them wanting to schedule a tour, and I'll go over all of the qualifications. And you can actually also list this in Zillow rentals as well. So one of the things that I say up front so people don't even apply is I do not rent to people with prior eviction. So if there is going to be a prior eviction on your credit report, you don't even need to apply, because this website that I use to do tenant background and screenings, the SmartMove by TransUnion, the Zillow background checks is actually supposed to do that too, but I don't think that they thoroughly do that like this particular website. And it does charge $45, and you can charge that to the tenant so that they pay. I tell them up front in the qualifications that no prior evictions will be accepted. I actually do rent to less than 600 credit score. Most places do not, but I actually do. But I tell them, if you have less than a 600 credit score, then I will require 2 times the deposit. If over 600 credit score, then only 1 times the deposit. And then the last one is you have to make at least 3 times the stated rental amount. And this is just so that you are not stretched out too thin, right? I find that anything under that, people tend to have issues with paying. And so I do try to stick to those 3 qualifications and criteria. And again, I let them know that up front before they even submit an application. So yes, that first mistake I made was only going by what the Zillow applications told me instead of using SmartMove by TransUnion. So one of the other things that I do is verify and go through the pay stubs. Now with ChatGPT, I'm finding that it does a really great job with finding an accurate ID. I'm gonna stick up a picture so that you can see. It is very, very accurate. Like, people can fake the IDs and they can fake the rental pay stubs. One of the things that I do is actually, after they've given me their ID, which I verify with their rental income pay stubs, I will then go and check. They actually say that they work where their pay stubs, because a lot of people can create fake pay stubs. So I will say there are actually professional tenants that game the system quite often, and they know exactly how long it takes to evict someone. One of the things that I do love about living in North Carolina is that we are a very, very tenant-friendly state, meaning you can actually go online, file for an eviction, and get a date within 2 to 3 weeks. It's a very, very quick and easy process to remove a tenant. If you're not like on it with the steps, then it can take a little bit longer. But again, I'm kind of on it. So the tenant did actually fool me. She gave me a sob story about taxes garnishing her paycheck. One of the things that stood out though was that instead of giving me updates, she completely ghosted me, which I guess can happen. I am very empathetic to people's situations. In the time that I needed to evict her, I gave her like an extra month, which basically ate up the security deposit. So that was gone. I ended up being able to get her evicted fairly quickly. She was telling me a story of, the sheriff knocked on her door and she spoke with them. But what I actually believe happened, and this is the third step that you guys definitely need to be taking, is actually going to meet the tenant themselves. What I think happened in hindsight was she had her document, she had a good credit history. She didn't really have a lot of credit history, which is also a sign because she was in her 30s and there was just like history of one credit card paying, which shot her up to over 700. There was nothing else though, no car note, no other accounts on her credit report, which I guess should have been a red flag. But again, here is the final step in making sure you screen a tenant properly. I definitely missed a step, but I won't miss this step anymore. It's actually going to meet the person in person. You'll have your ID, and then you need to actually physically verify that that ID is that person. So that's something that I didn't do and failed on actually meeting that person. Even if it had to have been a FaceTime call or Zoom call, that would have been sufficient. But I definitely failed with not going to at least meet the person. Now, she did actually think that I was a scammer. And so she said that she had her aunt or cousin come down to deliver me a money order to make sure that I wasn't a scammer. But one of the red flags was every month someone else would pay me. It wasn't her. She said that she was out of town, coming to, move back to the Rocky Mount area to be closer to her parents. I believed it, but I should have actually met that person in person. So that's where I failed, but I would definitely recommend everyone going to meet the tenant that they say is going to stay there. And this is something else that I've encountered as well. A lot of people will actually, like a sibling will rent out apartments for someone else and specifically target private landlords because they think that they can get away with it. Like the private landlord isn't going to put it on their record, but a judgment from the courts it's supposed to go on their record. Sometimes it doesn't. It's very, very easy to have that go on your record when you're an apartment building because they do this in and out. But as a private landlord, unless that conviction is in court and ruled as a judgment, like if you drop the case or don't show up and don't get the judgment, then that judgment will not go on your credit report if someone has been evicted. So there are, again, some professional tenants that know this and they will specifically target a private landlord for this reason. That is what I will say about this process. Just be very thorough. I started off as a detective. My job is to find any type of fallacies. So I look very heavily. Are the numbers numbers adding up on the pay stub? Is that matching up to the year to date? But I would definitely very, very vigilant, especially with ChatGPT and the fake licenses, in checking the ID to make sure that it actually corresponds with the physical person that is there. For job verification, actually call the company, speak to an HR representative, call them on Google, LinkedIn, the HR representative. If they gave you a number and you think it's a cousin, I would find whoever is that HR representative. Somebody should be on LinkedIn for sure. And then I would definitely make sure that again, that person is who they say they are, that the rental income matches what they say, and just, actually physically meeting that person. I no longer will make that mistake anymore because in hindsight, it really cost me thousands. Not only did I let her slide with 1 month, and then it took me around a month to, physically get her out. And then at that point, I had already really lost a month, and then I had to pay to get the home in working order again. So I had to pay somebody to paint, remove the trash, just go through everything to get it back. Luckily, I don't think that took me that long, but I did lose, I don't know, roughly $2,500 by those costly mistakes. Most of the tenants that have been with me are 5+ 6 years. So let me know if you guys have any questions, leave comments, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more insights on the Raleigh-Durham Triangle market and, topics in real estate investing in the area.